Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House. Every week, I have a different friend on, and they're my guest. I'm their guest in their fantasy house. They're my guest on the podcast. But dude, every week they take us on a tour through their fantasy house, and it is a blast. It's HGTV, but like for adults with imagination and trippiness, and it's raw. It's the world's only not safe for work real estate podcast. I'll tell you that right meow. This episode is brought to you by me, Jon Shefsky, the only realtor in Southern California. It's a dirty job, but I can handle it. Hit me up on fantasyhousepodcast gmail.com or on Instagram. We can talk about buying houses, selling houses, the beauty of multifamily properties, all that good stuff. I'd love to be of service if you're in the Southern California area. Dude, let's chat. What's my Instagram? Fantasy House Podcast Instagram. Or Jon Shefsky Instagram. You know how it goes. This week, my guest is my hilarious buddy, great stand-up comedian, creative dude, Nat Baimel. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited, guys. Now, in the words of the great Angelo Bowers, let us do this.
What you think about my friends over to your fantasy house? Your host with the most experience guest in your fantasy house. Get all the money for expensive construction. The only limit is your imagination. My friends over to your fantasy house right now.
My name's Nat Baimel. I'm a comedian. I'm a writer. I'm a real estate enthusiast. I am. I've been good. You know, I feel like since last time I saw you, it's been a while. I've gotten engaged, got a wonderful fiance.
Congrats!
Thank you very much.
Does it feel good? What's your where'd you guys meet? First of all,
Okay, Cupid.
on the internet.
On the internet, it works for some of us.
Dude, my brother met his wife on one of those websites. I don't remember which one it was. But it's legit.
No, I like it, and I appreciate you going. Because like a joke I used to tell is how the reaction would always be sort of like, oh, just sort of like a thinly veiled disappointment. Like, I wanted a better story.
Something in 3D more. You met her at the grocery store when she dropped the pickles and the jar shattered. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just like, oh, you like went on a date with her while you had two other dates scheduled that week.
But I hit delete on the other two dates after I met her and got to know her.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's still real. Dude, the pencil was technology at one point. You know, it's like what?
Yeah,
it's all technology.
Yeah, I think it's more romantic because you've got so many more choices you're deciding on.
That's a good point too. You're like numerically, like there are a lot of fish in the sea.com, and
yeah, it's also like it's like, oh, I stayed with you even though there were like all these other options I could have explored, but I was like, nope. I'm staying.
What got you into her? Like, I mean, obviously there's the standard stuff. But
yeah,
like,
we have a not bad but weird, complicated past in that. I met her like very shortly after getting out of my first ever relationship.
Yeah.
And then we started dating and we like for a month we're just seeing each other almost every day and it was good. And I realized like, oh, I don't want to just jump into another relationship right away. So I'm going to feel like, oh, what if I'm missing out on stuff? So I broke up with her and she likes to hold that over me every so often. And then I like casually dated around. And then eventually we started casually dating each other. And then after, a year of that, I was like, oh, what are we doing? And then we just became official.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was 5.5 years ago.
Oh, so you guys have been together for a while now.
Yeah. Like we met in 2012 and we became official in 2014.
Nice. Well, congrats on that. That's always great.
Yeah, so, it's not the most romantic of stories, but there's conflict, there's resolution.
That's right.
A story.
It's got an arc, man.
Yeah.
Okay, you said she holds it over you sometimes that you guys broke up, like in a funny way, like a playful way? Or?
Yeah, every so often she'll go, hey, remember that time you broke up with me and destroyed my heart?
I love that.
Yeah, and then I'll go, oh, remember that time I was mature enough to realize that if I stayed with this, I could have potentially ruined it, but then left and explored other options, then came back to you, a mature, ready person, and we were happy? And then she'll go, okay.
I imagine you guys having the exact riff conversation that you're having right now while you're making love.
We do a riff.
Remember when you broke up with me? Remember when it?
So the joke I say is I know our relationship is really good because I don't have a lot of jokes about her in my act.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's like I every so often like casually mention my fiance and they're like, why don't you talk about her? I'm just like, because things are good.
Nothing's funny about my working, functioning relationship.
Yeah, because I do the road a lot, and I was like, when I'm working with a comic, and then their entire act is like, my wife is terrible, and then I see them a year later, and then they're like, my ex is terrible. I'm like, yeah, that adds up.
Oh, that's hilarious. You put two and two together. Like, he's gonna have another tag again. My second ex was my rebound ex. I definitely. Speaking of working with people doing stand up and then being looking at the husband wife material, I used to detest husband wife material and kids material because I was just like, everyone's. It's like my wife, my kids, right? I used to be like, oh, it's so passe. And then you get older, you have a wife and your kids, and you're like, it kind of is the funniest shit. The kind of weird stuff you get into with your partner, the weird stuff that happens with your kids. It really does become a plethora of material.
Oh yeah,
and I can't help but be like, oh, this is funny. This is going in the act.
I'm really bored when it's just the same over and over again, where it's just like, oh, my wife and kids are driving me crazy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. That sort of just, man, middle America loves you.
Oh yeah, well, that's why it's relatable, because in certain areas, like, that's where people are having the wife and kids family. And I think also, like, I've always been excited, but like when a speaker talks about like stuff that I'm not familiar with, and it was always shocking to me in stand-up how that doesn't always fly. Like, a lot of people they have a hard time connecting if they can't be familiar with what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I've always been like, oh, dude, this comic has got like some sort of stuff to talk about that I've never heard about, or I never lived like that before, and it becomes more interesting to me. But I think, like, if you go to certain areas in the country to perform, you get on stage there, and if you're not going to just be like talking about the exact stuff they know, they're like, I'm bored, I'm tuning out. This station sucks. Change the channel.
I think it's only if you can paint it in ways that they'll understand. Like, George Lopez is a comic, whether you think he's funny or not. He's amazing.
It'd be funny if we just stopped the podcast right there. George Lopez is a comic. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in.
But I mean, he's good at just sort of like saying, like, here's what it's like being raised Mexican. And I wasn't raised Mexican, but watching his stories, like, oh, I can see what that's like, and the humor in the situation. Whereas a lot of times I'll do jokes about being raised Jewish, and I realized shortly after, it was like, oh, you just have to like make it so they understand what that is, and don't just hit them with a million references.
Exactly. You make your explanation and your descriptions jokes as well.
Yeah, because one of my favorite jokes I ever wrote. And then for the longest time, I thought, oh, the only reason this doesn't work is people are stupid. And realized, oh, no, they don't understand because they weren't raised Jewish and understand that. The joke was, I think it was one of the negatives of being Jewish is I can't go to pool parties because every time I try jumping in the water, it parts down the middle.
And they're like, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, oh, it's just you're uncultured swines. No, it's because they didn't get bar mitzvahed, you idiot.
I thought that because Christianity, our country has got so many Christians in it, and the Old Testament is still all part of the thing. So I thought that they would know, but they don't. As you get older, you realize, like, oh, like, a lot of Christians don't pay as much attention to the Old Testament, which they don't have to. No, if you're a listener and you're a Christian, like, nah, the Jesus stuff's way cooler and way friendlier. But
yeah, the Old Testament's like Dragon Ball, like the original Dragon Ball. Everyone's like, I just got into Z. I didn't go back to it. I was like, once they would Super Saiyan, I didn't need to like see him as a kid.
Yeah, I had a joke. You totally reminded me of a joke that never worked when I left Los Angeles, and it was about Passover. And I don't remember the joke verbatim because it's been a while since I told it because it only worked in certain neighborhoods. But it was about like being Jewish and how we eat matzah, the unleavened bread and whatnot. Also, assuming everyone knew this shit.
Yeah.
And then and dude, I didn't grow up in a super Jewish neighborhood, by the way. Too, I grew up in a super like non-Jewy neighborhood. It was me and like 3 other Jews in the entire city. So I should have known better, but I'm also an idiot. I don't live up to any Jewish stereotypes. I'm not smart. I have a small nose.
I feel like I live up to a lot of them, but
there's some good ones.
Yeah, there are some good ones.
Dude, there's some good Jewish stereotypes.
I've had like friends in the industry say, "Hey, Nat, I'm trying to craft a letter to this like manager. Can you look it over? You're Jewish." It's like, I don't have a manager. You're
kidding me?
Further along than I am in this
30s?
game. Yeah.
Oh, dude. But yeah, dude, I had this joke about like how we celebrate Passover in my house is like we pay Egyptians to come and beat the shit out of us while we build little pyramids. And I remember going to, I think it was in the Bay Area, I was in but not in like San Francisco. I was in like the Inland Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
Like in the San Francisco comedy competition. They had a dropout. This is a long story. If you're listening and you're not into comedy, fucking strap in. I'm going to tell the story.
There's that 30-second skip button. Just hit it. Twice.
Hit the little circle with the 30-second. But I got someone. They had a dropout, and it was all for like experienced comics. And someone just referred me, and I was like, sure, I'll go. And I was literally on stage in a competition with like Moshe Kasher and Rory Scovel and all these guys, who even at that time were still like 7 or 8 years ahead of me, right? So it was ridiculous, but it was a great experience. Anyways, I was out in the middle of nowhere, boondocks, doing stand-up and just like bombing my ass off because I just didn't know how to connect at all with people besides the locals of where I was from. And I remember being like, how do they not get this? Like, building little pyramids, dude. It's a Passover. Come on now. But yeah, those kind of jokes are... They're close to my heart for nostalgia, but there's something about like learning to connect that it's like doesn't matter how smart you think your jokes are, or even how smart you might be. The real intelligence lies in like, can you go to another area and learn to speak their language?
Yeah,
and connect that way. That's intelligence, not being so smart that they can't understand you. What the fuck, you know?
That being said, about a year and a half ago, I did get the opportunity to perform at a synagogue, and it was a treat for me.
Was it fun?
I was scared because I'm at a synagogue. What can I get away with?
Yeah.
And I realized, I only have to do 30 minutes. I can do 30 clean minutes. And I realized, I can do all of the Jewish references that never work when I'm on tour.
Finally.
And they'll understand all of them. And so I had to tell basically a bunch of tweets that I never would be able to tell on stage. I think one of them was, people say Jews run Hollywood. If that's the case, then why are hidden items called Easter eggs instead of afikomen?
And only
applause
Jews would
break.
get that.
Applause
break, dude. Afikomen. Explain afikomen for our non-Jewish listeners.
It's matzah on Passover that you hide and that you have to find. And that's literally it. But who would know that besides someone who has played that?
But it's such a good reference because Easter eggs are something that also... And by the way, afikomen, usually the kids at the party are the ones who are going out to find it. Usually there's like a little... like a reward if you find it. I remember my uncle used to be like, whoever gets it gets $1. And they'd have a bunch of the kids would go looking for it. So it was just like... that's a great joke. I love to ask this question. If you... if you imagine like the why of why you do what you do, like why you get up in the morning, why you're a stand-up, why you focus on your goals and continue to strive for it, like a why pie, what percentage would be what? You know, like why do you do what you do for this, for that? Like, ooh, you know what I mean? And I realize now, saying this out loud too, like I'm always learning on like perfecting getting guests prepped for this show.
Yeah.
That would be a fun thing to send out beforehand, a little why pie diagram. Cause like I have a morning routine, right? And every, like in my routine, like I recite, like I know what my why pie is. I know why I do what I do, like what's important to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love finding out what other people's are.
Yeah. I would say that once I got engaged, that definitely did change.
Yeah.
Because now a lot of what I'm doing, it's still sort of the same goals, but I'm going after it because I want to I want to have a better life for us.
Yeah.
You know, like I was never a very materialistic person, and I would say I still am not. Like the two of us, I think it would be nice. We talked like, it would be nice if we didn't have a house someday, but if we just did, a townhouse or a condo, that'd be cool too. We don't need a lot to be happy. But, it's like a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I have to try to do these things, but I also have to try to really push them out there to actually make the money and provide this because she has a good job. I don't want her to ever have to just support my artistic ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, a lot of the stuff I do, it's essentially... It's the very saccharine, I want to make people laugh and brighten their days. There is that to it, but there's also very much that validation of, I have something to say and it resonates and people know and remember me. I always say my ideal career would be a Brian Regan type career.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're doing nothing but theaters, you're making crazy money, but no one outside of comedy fans really know who you are.
Yeah, you don't have like the responsibility of celebrity.
Yeah, you can just go walk around and no one's going to stop you. But then all of a sudden at night you're a rock star. That's the good life for me.
I do. I love that. That's great. I always said Todd Berry for me. Who doesn't make it all? Who doesn't make it all the Brian Regan money? But also, I'm just like he doesn't do theaters. I'm like he has even less pressure.
Yeah.
He's not a celebrity. He gets by. But yeah, dude, I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I would love to sell shows and everything, but I would also want to just sort of do that and be on the writing side of it, so people can go, oh, he's the same guy who does these things? I didn't know that. That was cool. He's not like front and center on everything.
That's like Tina Fey. It's kind of exciting. Like, oh, you're not starring in that, but you wrote on that. And oh, I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, because I like the idea of having that sort of respect, but without the pressure of everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm hungry for respect more than I am money. Although now that I'm engaged, it's like, some of that money would be nice just to make sure we're not destitute.
I feel very, very much. Yeah, you don't want to be destitute in this culture. You can't afford to be. I feel similar, like not materialistic, but it's like, to me, it's more like buying your freedom. You know what I mean? Like there's the Grant Cardones of just like, I need the best airplane that comes out every year. I got to buy it. And I'm like, I'm not going to like risk like not spending time with my loved ones or like that level of discipline. Like for the airplane, I'm like, I just want to like not have to worry about like what's going to happen next month if I don't have any money coming in.
I'm pretty sure Tom Segura said this, but I heard he said this from a friend who told me, so sorry if it's incorrect.
This is a game called The 7 Degrees of Tom Segura, by the way.
Yeah, but he defined making it as when you can go out for dinner and not have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about, like, oh, how much is this going to cost me? Do I have to, like, save? Do I have to worry about that? That's making it, and that sounds perfect for me.
Well, I haven't made it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially once you have the kids, too. You're just like, oh, he's eating a meal now? He can't just eat off of our plate? Dear Lord.
Yeah. Oh, he just ordered cheese sticks?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
See, my 3-year-old loves salmon when we go out for sushi, and it was super, and I still love it, but it was super cute when he would, like, I would just get my sushi and then give him pieces of it and he would get stuffed off of that. And now he's like, Daddy, I want another roll. And I was like, we already got another roll. Then he peels the rice off. I was like, dude, you can't be a sashimi eater yet. I'm not that successful. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're materialistic or not. Like, you just got to be able to buy your freedom in this culture, you know?
No, you need to be a rice only. Oh, boy.
Just
Until
rice.
Daddy made some moves in the real estate market.
He needs protein, though. I can't just make the kid eat rice. Oh, dude.
Brown rice has got a little more protein in it. He'll be fine.
Does it? The husk? It's got the husk. So that's your Y pie to take care of you and your future wife, and so she doesn't have to have you as her Jefferson from Married with Children trophy husband.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, also, I want to make things and be recognized for it.
Yeah.
That sort of human, non-solipsistic, I exist, other people exist, and they notice me very... I mean, I don't want to sound like the Joker. It's like, people are noticing me now.
No, I get what you're saying, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that's great. So the pie would be sliced up mostly in half, right? Those would be the two things.
Yeah. And I also say, I talked about this on stage jokingly, that people say it's like, oh, doing comedy is so brave. I'm like, it's not brave at all. This is a sad need that a lot of us have for validation. For me specifically, I was raised by a single mom who had to work a lot, so I didn't get enough attention. So whenever I'm on stage, it's like that kid at the birthday party, like jumping on the diving board going, look what I can do. Look what I can do. You're not looking.
I think that was so much of the drive for me too. It's just like, I love that. I was the kid that was always drawing, like I would draw these cutaways of like weird military like jets and vehicles, and I would draw all the compartments and the people in them and all the stuff, and I would like try to explain them to my parents, and my parents would be like, that's cool. Nice. Like overwhelmed because I can ramble forever. And just be overwhelmed and just be like, that's great. And then I was like, that's why I do stand up, because I'm like, you guys have to listen. I have the fucking microphone now and you're in your seats.
Yeah. If you start talking, you get kicked out.
Yeah. You get kicked out for talking to this conversation, motherfucker. Oh, dude.
Hedberg had that great joke about, it's like, I'm supposed to talk for 45 minutes. That's a sitcom and a half.
It's true, dude.
And if you interrupt, you get kicked out.
One of my favorite Mitch Hedbergs is the "Don't bother ringing it up is for a duck." That's you guys have to go back. If you don't know, if you're listening to my podcast and you don't know all Mitch Hedberg jokes, you can go. This is your chance to go press pause and go on YouTube and just watch some Hedberg, dude. Insane. What else?
And that's what I would like. 14 and a half years after I'm dead, people are still going, oh, this is a great bit.
Oh, I think they will too. I think your bits, you're really good at being, what do they call it when you're a word, when you your
Economy of words.
Economy of words, yeah. Like you've got such a good, like they used to say about Richard Jenny too. Like you don't waste, like there's no wasted words in there, and it's like, oh, the rhythm. It's like listening to music, like the rhythm, like it makes sense. You know, you feel it, and you're like, yeah, climax. Then next, build up again, yeah. It's great, dude.
And it's all trial and error.
It is, but
just like anything else. Just my bits usually start off as jazz, and it's just, oh, there's a lot of unnecessary movement and too many things happening at once here, and then eventually just turns into pop, where it's just like, oh, it's just right in and out to the point.
Totally. That's so much of my favorite is polishing. In fact, I used to get bummed like when like you see Chappelle working stuff out and just rapping about stuff, because I grew up watching like Chappelle do just full polished, and as nice as it is to see the behind the scenes and the documentary version of how he came up with it, I was like almost disappointed the first time I saw it. I was like, this is like a lot of stuff, like just to like get to it. But then after, years after becoming a comic and really like honing your, what do you call it, polishing material?
Yeah.
Paul, did you hear that alpha male out there in that vehicle?
I sure did.
Oh,
it sounded very cool.
Sounded like one of the scary vehicles from Mad Max. How's the economy doing? Should we open the door and just see? There's a sandstorm out there.
Oh man, there's a person strapped to the front of that thing with a blood bag.
I don't know if you guys could hear that, if listeners can hear that, but there was a very loud revving engine in the alley.
An aggressive vroom.
That's right, a very aggressive. But yeah, dude, the polishing of material and going up there and just riffing out your thoughts, and then like it's almost like the audience writes your jokes for you. You're like, that's where the last 6 times I was riffing about that story, they laughed really hard at that one part. So that's it's like building a city. I'm gonna build my city around that port. Yeah,
the audience always does choose their own adventure when I don't know where to go with this joke, and that's where you're laughing. Okay, I guess we're taking this road.
Yeah. You guys just, dude, and I love Choose Your Own Adventure books when I was a youngin'. Oh, hell yeah. Where is the geographic location of your fantasy house? What are we looking at from our drone?
So I don't know if this is cheating, but I don't care because this is my fantasy.
Hey, your fiance's not here. This isn't cheating. I'm straight, but we got to do what we got to do. Oh, you mean that paper?
Yes. Okay. So you can tell I put too much thought into this.
No, that's great. Oh, dude, I love it.
Yes.
And I want people. This is an exercise for your imagination. I want you to feel comfortable.
All right. So I'm not going to build my own house. I'm going to take over the lease of an already existing fantasy house and refurbish it. My fantasy house is Castlevania.
That's so freaking hilarious.
Wait, are you aware of Castlevania?
I'm aware of Castlevania, but my pop culture knowledge for so many things, I'm like, you're going to have to just take us all through it.
All right. So it's one of my favorite video game series. It's essentially like Dracula's castle. Mm-hmm. And in this, his castle is called Castlevania.
Yep.
And it's a magical castle that can teleport and move and change, and it gets destroyed constantly, but it comes back no matter how damaged it is, which means I don't need house insurance, which is amazing.
No homeowners insurance for this guy.
Yeah, I'm saving money. So in terms of geographic location, the thing literally has gears in it that can teleport it anywhere. Oh. So if I want to wake up with an ocean view, boom, we do that. I want to wake up looking over the mountains, boom, we do that. It's amazing. And it's also driven by humans' lack of faith in God, so it'll always be around.
Oh, dude. Where's it at today for this episode?
For this episode, I'm going to have it just in Sherman Oaks, where I currently live, because I like the neighborhood. I don't know where it's going to be, because it's a really, really big castle.
In Sherman Oaks. Dude, it's hilarious. Okay. All right, so me and the Fantasy House film crew come to the front door. What's the doorbell? I'm imagining it's something on a pipe organ.
Well, it was when I first got there, but I'm getting the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's a novelty corgi head that you push it. And it just
corgi head?
Oh, Katie and I love corgis.
I love corgis, too.
We love it. We went to Corgi Beach Day about a week ago.
I didn't even know they had that.
Oh, it's so wonderful. It's just a beach full of corgis just running around. And they do games. They do a musical chairs where it's a bunch of people in their corgis walking in a circle. When the music stops, you have to make your dog sit, and the last dog to sit is out.
Oh, it's brutal. It's very cutthroat in the corgi games for some of these corgis. They train their whole lives for that. They're done.
Yeah, they also have ringers, too. There was a corgi limbo contest. Crouton won for a second year in a row.
Crouton. So do they have a big foam instead of it being a finger? It's like a paw, and it says Crouton on it. Crouton's number one.
Oh, it's a big old butt. Big old corgi butt.
Their little butts are so freaking adorable, dude.
Yeah, so it's a little corgi doorbell, not the face, the butt. You ring the butt.
Okay, so I'm poking the butt to get in. That's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
I almost want a Fantasy House sticker for the Patreon subscribers of just a corgi's butt as a doorbell. Ding dong. I got to do that. That's a doorbell. I'm writing it down right now. Okay, go.
Let's write it in. All right. So you come in. There's a giant foyer. just humongous. Checkered floors, everything. The way I envision this, because I've played many Castlevania games, and they all take place in Castlevania. It's sort of you kill Dracula, but he comes back every couple hundred years, and you're usually the Belmonts, which are like the main characters, but it's essentially like a family that goes throughout the generations. So sometimes it's like, oh, it's the 1200s when we're fighting Dracula, but this game takes place in the 1600s, and you're a descendant of the Belmonts. So you're always in Castlevania, but because it'd be boring if it was the same stages, like the castle looks different all the time, so it almost has a mind of its own. So essentially when you go into this massive foyer, cool stairs and everything, there's all these rooms, essentially wherever you need to go, that's just where you're going to go. You go through the door, boom, this is where I wanted to go. I'm already here. I don't have to walk, the 3 miles it would take to get to the other end of this castle.
So where's it going to take us right now then? Where are we going?
So I wrote down all of the rooms I want in this place.
Woo, let's go.
So it's essentially just going to be like walking in a room, walking out, walking back into the same room, and it's a different room somehow.
Okay.
That's how this tour is going to go.
That makes sense, yeah.
All right.
Beat by beat, dog.
Yes. So, one thing that I love is you're going to have a comedy club annexed onto the side of this thing. Because I love doing comedy. One of the worst things about comedy is travel. As you well know, all the flying, the driving. One of the wisest things I ever heard was this comic Julie Scoggins said, we don't get paid for what we do on stage. We get paid for what we do to get on that stage.
So friggin' true.
And I hate doing all the stuff I used to get on stage. So I like the idea of, no, screw this. I'm going to go on tour with my teleporting house, and I'm going to have the comedy club with me.
Yes.
So this way I know what the comedy club is. I know it's set up the right way, and I can definitely draw people, because who wouldn't want to go see comedy at a haunted castle?
This is an ad, folks. This whole episode is just simply an ad.
That's all it is. So we go into this room. It's a comedy club. That's it. We leave that. We go back into the exact same room. Now,
Hey, wait. Just real quick. The comedy club, because there's so many comedy clubs, and I know a handful of my listeners are not comedians. In fact, most of them are not comedians. Ooh. And so to you and me, you say comedy club, I'm like, oh, cool. But let's explain like what's so cool about like you specifically having the right club, because a lot of people don't know about like ceiling height, lighting, sound.
So a lot of comedy clubs, some of like the place I started, I don't know if I want to say the name because they're not a great chain, but
yeah, you don't have to say
they were
name.
nice enough to me. Their model of business was they wouldn't, buy or like rent a place. They would just go to an existing business and say, hey, do you want to do a comedy club on the weekends? And they would say yes, and they would hang up a vinyl banner and say, you're now a comedy club.
Yep, there you
and
go.
then they would charge them,
Congratulations.
And they would charge them, let's say, $1,000 for a weekend and pay the comics less than $500 and just take all that profit for themselves.
Oh, for sure. Well, they put up the vinyl banner.
They sure did. And they would put that thing anywhere.
Yep.
Anywhere. Bowling alleys. I remember once I performed on essentially a milk crate because this place was not equipped to do comedy in the slightest.
Yeah.
And so I like the idea of just having an improv style room, seats about 500, brick walls, low ceiling, so the sound doesn't travel around a lot.
So good with low ceilings. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So just think of what you would imagine a comic club would be on a TV show. That's what I want it to be. Not the type of places where we go where it's like, oh, these ceilings are vaulted and crazy high because this is a torn out laundromat that should not be housing anyone for anything.
We're not always performing in the intro scenes for the cold open from Seinfeld.
Yeah,
it's not like that in real life all the time.
Hardly ever, sadly.
No. Okay, so that's a great way to paint the picture of what the club would look like. Now I'll let you move on to the next room.
Yes.
So what do? We walk outside the door and then press a button and it swaps to another
It's whatever
room?
you need it to be in your mind, really. Okay. It kind of reads your mind. It's a living entity. It's tied to the magic of the owner of the place. Which, by the way, I don't know how I got Castlevania. I haven't worked that out yet, whether I somehow earned enough to buy it off of Dracula or I slayed him and through right of conquest it became mine.
Oh, that's the badass alpha way to get a house.
Yeah, but usually when you kill Dracula, the castle crumbles around him, so I don't know how it didn't do it when I did it.
That's part of the magic. That's part of the story that we don't even know that's still unfolding.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Well, this is...
Yeah, I slew Dracula, and for some reason the house is like, this guy seems cool. You can keep me.
The weirdest escrow I have ever been involved in.
Yeah. And so it's just mine.
How many days? Actually, about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
What contingency were removed? The one where Dracula is dead now, so the guy who killed him gets to own it. It's a living entity, this house.
Yeah, but don't kill me because it'll just collapse. And I'll come back to life in 100 years when humans once again lost faith in God. I don't know why it's tied to that specifically, but that's what it says in every game.
You got a super trippy philosophy behind this house. All right, give me the next room.
All right, next room we go into is my favorite childhood amusement center, Grand Prix Racerama. No longer exists, but for some reason it exists here.
Is this a go-kart place?
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, dude.
It's a go-kart place with bumper cars, mini golf, and a giant arcade.
Yeah, okay. I love that.
Yes. It'll also have laser tag in it as
Yeah,
well.
you have to.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. The whole house is basically a laser tag arena.
Through the entire house?
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, there's ghosts and ghouls and all sorts of other things. And you essentially just go, I feel like tagging something up. They just appear and you just laser tag them and they just, dissipate.
Is there blue, purpley light everywhere, too?
Oh, hell yes, there is.
Yeah, dude. That's intense. Oh,
everywhere.
That's intense.
And everything is non-stick, so you don't have to worry about black light picking up something that would embarrass you.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
It is clean.
Clean AF, dog.
Yes. Oh, we also have a trampoline room.
Nice.
Like one of those trampoline. Have you ever been to a trampoline park?
Yeah, I have kids, of course.
Oh, excellent.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love trampoline rooms.
Yeah, I remember Katie and I went years ago, I think on a Easter, I want to say.
Yeah.
And while we were there, I threw my back out, and yet I've been the one who's been adamantly wanting to go back, and she's just like, I think I'm good.
She's the one who's like, we don't need to go to any more trampoline places. You threw your back out last time. How'd you throw your back out on a trampoline?
Oh, because I am over committed to a lot of tricks I think I can do.
Oh, you're doing tricks. Okay, that's need you say more? No. I mean, okay, I just jump. Are you flipping and doing stuff?
Oh, I'm trying to, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they also have one of those pits full of the foam blocks that you can dive into.
Dude, I love those, but I always get like little something in my eye. Like they're like little, I don't know if it's pieces of the foam or if it's like dust that's stuck to the foam. Like something always gets in my eyes.
I mean, it's probably the scat bacteria the children are leaving in there.
That's
but
absolutely disgusting.
And true, actually.
Is that really?
Oh, yeah. Apparently those things are just like giant.
Just cesspools of nastiness?
Yeah.
But then, by that same token, dude, like jumping into them is so much fun. It's like it's worth it. Because it's like you just get to jump into this crazy big vat of like foam squares.
And I like the idea of just having that in my house.
I like it as
in
well.
my castles. This way, Katie's like, I don't want to go. It's okay. I'm just going to go down the hall and do it myself.
Yeah, that's right. You stay right here, Katie. I'm going. I'm foaming it.
I'm going to go bouncing around.
Bounce it. All right. What's next? Keep it going. I love that you just have this like giant list. I'm like, go down it. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've listened to your episodes, and a lot of times people are just like, oh, I want this like one or two things. I'm like, this is a fantasy house.
Yeah, you're building on it. And
this
like,
is everything.
Yeah.
And I realized, wait a minute. Why would I wait or have to leave my house to go to anything when I have a castle that can just have the stuff in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Think bigger.
That's your new Apple campaign. Think bigger.
Yeah.
You guys
Is that
think
already an Apple campaign? It sounds like it probably is.
Doesn't it Think Big? Or am I thinking of something else? Think Different was Apple. Oh, man.
I don't know.
That's why I don't work for the commercial company anymore, coming up with ideas.
Magnum. Think big. All right. Recorded studio. I don't know why I want one, but I want one.
For comedy, or are you going to make a country album?
Music. I was in a band before I started comedy.
Yeah.
And I still have those aspirations. Like, I just want to like make an album of music.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just like, it's like a little mini guitar center in my house. So I can just like go in and play stuff. If I want to record it, I can record it. And there's people in there who know how to record it. Because other people live in Castlevania. I don't know why they're there. I don't know how they got there, but they're always there.
Are they not your employees or anything else? Like when you got the house, you inherited those souls as well?
Oh, yeah. Every Castlevania game, there's always like a laboratory, and there's just scientists in there. I'm like, does Dracula employ these people? Does he just have like sort of like an incubation center where he's just trying to like cure cancer? I'm just trying to like
Dracula cures cancer?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious if Dracula did something great like that for society.
Non-cancerous blood tastes better, so
Right?
it's,
He's like,
it's a selfish thing.
Dracula, what's your Y pie? In all honesty, it's actually just because I like the flavor.
Yes, mostly damnation.
Speaking of which, dude, what are you wearing in this house? Like, are you dressed as Dracula or like?
Oh, I thought you were asking me what am I wearing right now to let every listener know that I'm wearing a Jon Shefsky merchandise shirt that he got me while we performed together in Fresno, California.
Oh, dude, what a treat it was to open the door and be like, wait, that actually looks familiar. It's Boba Fett doing the Jordan dunk.
Yeah.
No, what are you wearing in the fantasy house?
Oh, I'm just wearing what I'm comfortable wearing in my current house. Boxers and nothing else.
Nice.
Because I would feel like, should I be walking around in a cape?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Because like, if you inherited Dracula's magical house,
I mean, when I have guests over, yes, I will dress. I probably won't even dress like formally, like he has, like the suit with like the ruffles and everything. No, I'm just gonna wear what I'm wearing now, but with a cape over it. Because that seems cool.
Yeah, a t-shirt, jeans, some tennis shoes, and a cape.
Yeah, but when I get home, it's I'll just like take my shoes off, take my pants off. Little minions will take it, so I don't have to like walk to the laundromat, or because I'll have a laundromat, full laundromat in there.
You got to have a laundromat in your house.
Full ass laundromat
with this cape collection. You have to.
Also open to the public, so this way I'm making money.
You're freaking weird.
Yeah, well, I want to collect those quarters because there's an arcade right there. So I just take the quarters from the machine and use it in the Grand Prix Racerama that I've resurrected in my Castlevania home.
Hilarious. What's the next room, dude?
Next room. Oh, this is very important. So important. Save rooms scattered throughout the entire castle.
Save rooms?
Save rooms, yes.
What's that?
So my favorite Castlevania game is Symphony of the Night, which is it's structured like Metroid, if you ever played that, where instead of it's like you beat the level and then you go on to the next level. Metroid is just like one giant map that you just sort of like get items and unlock along the way.
Okay.
And they made this like the same way. So it's like, oh, you're unlocked in the castle. But since it's like a several-hour game with one giant level you're exploring, if you die, it's like, oh, you are dead. They have save rooms. So like you go into one room, there's just like this weird like pulsing orb thing.
Yeah.
And then you like save. So this way, if you die, you just go back to that save room and start over again from there, as opposed to the very beginning.
Oh, it's very like a very abstract or interactive way of like.
It's like a save point. In, like a lot of those games.
Okay, I'm so not good at video games, and I promise you, I will eventually get good as soon as the virtual reality becomes more accessible. Because I do love that. But yeah, dude, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, all the game references I'm making are from the 90s and earlier. So that's kind of when I fell off of them.
Like watching my brother play Zelda. He probably went to some sort of save point or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but I still play those same games today because I love them. So I like the idea of having several save rooms in the house. This way, if I can just save periodically, and if I fuck up, like I say the wrong thing to Katie, or if like, oh, I was supposed to do this thing or I didn't, I just kill myself and then boop, back to the save room.
Dude, I
start all over again.
That's so rad.
So this way, I
so
just
personal and hilarious.
Every time something goes good, boom, save the progress. Don't want to lose that. Don't want to lose that one. But then it's like as soon as I messed up, like, oh, that's the thing. I have a set. I bomb. Nope, never happened. Just like jump off the top of the castle. Boom. Oh, here I am. Sweet. Do the show over again.
Dude, it's morbid that you have to kill yourself because it's video game rules, but it's genius that you do this. And
save rooms doesn't even count.
Oh, it's so awesome, dude. I had no idea that's what you were getting into when you're like, save rooms. I thought you meant like rooms with a bunch of boxes with nostalgia in it. This is so fucking cool.
Oh, I have those too, but I'm sentimental.
Dracula's castle has old Legos. All right, take me to the next room.
I miss these.
You just made me think of my old G.I. Joes. I'm like, where are my G.I. Joes?
All right.
I didn't get rid of them.
I mentioned I've got lab with scientists doing all sorts of cool things for me. It's going to be important for this next part. I want an aquarium room. Just a big-ass aquarium. So this way, it's just like a giant, like you walk in, like when you go to an aquarium, it's just like a wall where you just like look at the sea life, and it's just dolphins and manatees and the cannibalistic mermen that are in Castlevania, but they're in there, and I can swim with them.
Cannibalistic mermen.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fish tanks or rooms, or we've had bathrooms even that like, oh, the bathroom's complete 100% glass everywhere, and you just see fish or whatever else. No one has had cannibalistic mermen.
I mean, I like to make you feel special, but I mention cannibalistic mermen on every podcast I go on. It's kind of my calling card.
You say this to all your hosts.
It's like people who follow me are like, oh, here comes the cannibalistic merman reference again.
There you go. They use the acronym, the CMMs.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
But so I can swim with them because I like the idea of, oh, they're not just my pets, they're my friends. And then I also have a 5-star chef in the kitchen that can cook them for me. But it's okay because I have scientists that clone them. So I'm just eating.
You're eating the merman?
Things. I'm eating the mermen, the manatees, the dolphins.
I was going to ask what we were going to eat since you got a 5-star chef, and I feel like you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to start eating a burger and be like, this is delicious. What is it? You'll be like, it's a Frank.
Yeah, but it's a clone of Frank, so it's okay.
How do you think merman meat would taste, though?
I imagine probably like salty, depending on the type of body of water they're in. Potentially mercury poisoning.
That's disgusting.
We really got to save the oceans for our mermen.
Can I order something separate from your 5-star chef? Can I be like, okay, he's going to have the cannibalistic merman. Can I just get some? Can I get some Toro?
You can't. It's one of those type of restaurants where essentially it's like they make one like menu per day, and you just have to eat what's on there.
Okay.
But they also know my taste, so it's going to be a lot of tacos for the most part.
With mermen as the meat, though?
Mermen meat tacos.
It's so gross.
It's amazing.
Merman meat tacos, dude. You got to open up a business.
Yes, and no cilantro in any of it. So I have that cilantro,
you don't like cilantro
thing. Oh, I hate cilantro. I did that brain thing. I've researched this. The reason like why some people are like, oh, cilantro tastes like soap to me is because we have extra scent receptors like most people don't have. I think it's like 4 to 14% of the population are affected by this.
Yep.
So we can essentially smell, and since smell is linked so closely to taste, we can like, oh, this tastes soapy to me, but you don't smell it because you're not as evolved and have big brain receptors like we do.
You also have a very what do you call it? A condescending brain synapse. My synapses facilitate a very condescending.
Oh yeah, that's why I smell so well too, because I have extra scent receptors.
It's so great, dude, to be like, oh no, my brain's just a little bit more evolved than yours. No big deal. NBD, bro.
I can sniff out the bullshit from big cilantro.
I would rather big cilantro.
Big cilantro.
I would rather be a little bit more dumb and get to enjoy tacos the way God intended. I'm just saying. I freaking love cilantro, but I remember learning in biology about Brussels sprouts and how certain people have genetics that their tongue doesn't like the way it tastes. It doesn't go good to your brain. Because there are people that absolutely hate. I hate Brussels sprouts. If you soak them like in bacon and salt and other stuff, and so that I'm not tasting then I'll eat them. But it's always hilarious to me when people are like, like, what are you making? Oh, I got some Brussels sprouts. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, they're also making it with like, oh yeah, I'm coating it in maple syrup and
that's what I'm saying.
Bacon lardons.
That's when I'll eat it. Is like, when it's just coated in a bunch of stuff. But
because you'll eat anything that way. You'll probably eat your children if I put maple syrup and bacon lardons.
I did used to have a bit about how good bacon is, and that if you found out it was for people, I'd still eat it because
of course you would
if something's that good. But no, I will not. I will not subject anybody to being eaten. Yeah, for their flavors.
Also, manatee bacon strips, delicious.
Manatee bacon?
Oh, yeah.
I thought turkey bacon, but manatee bacon.
Manatee bacon. I've had this like line almost since I started comedy, but it's like they're sea cows, they're mammals that live in the ocean. Mm-hmm. They're essentially pre-marinated their entire lives. They're just so moist and delicate and delicious.
So gross, dude.
Delectable.
Oh, they're already like they have the sushi seasoning. Like they feel like it's got that nori paper sprinkling all over them.
Yeah,
they've been soaking in the ocean.
Oh, also, out back we got the Great British Bake Off tent.
Oh, dude, with Noel Felding.
Oh yeah, Noel Felding and
dude.
Paul Hollywood with just haunting eyes.
Oh, dude, that sounds awesome. What would they be baking? Anything for us to eat right now? Because I waited to eat since you had freaking merman tacos.
Yeah. I mean, we're also going to have like the Iron Chef arena in there as well. And I mean, the ingredient is always going to be merman.
I can't escape that in your house. I'm like, I'm so excited to eat here. Like every fantasy house, I'm so excited for people to feed me. Like what they have in their crazy kitchens and their weird inventions. And yours, I'm just like, I can't eat. I can't eat this.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, because I know you asked like, oh, what are the bathrooms like? No bathrooms. No bathrooms at all in Castlevania.
Explain this to me.
Well, because in a lot of the games, there are dark wizards in it, and I'm just going to use them to magic the poop out of me.
That's so freaking weird.
Because, here's the thing.
Instead of saying, I got to go to my office, you'll be like, I got to go see my wizard.
Yeah. Well, he comes to me.
Magic the poop out of me is just a freaking... Oh,
well, I have a very fast metabolism, and on average...
I know, you're always svelte, dude. You wear baby shirts and you look great. Like, you don't have to hide shit.
I know. Well, it's all because my metabolism is so fast. On average, on a slow day, I'll poop 3 times.
Really?
So on a slow day, it's usually closer to 4, sometimes 5.
So how does that affect you? No wonder you don't like traveling, and you want the comedy club to be part of your. Just the shitting alone makes traveling miserable.
I spend so much of my day shitting. It is such a waste of my time. I literally have better shit to be doing. I need a dark wizard to just magic it out of me. Just magic that poop out of me.
Paint a picture of that though. Like, what does it look like? You walk up to a dude in a cloak.
Oh, he comes up to me. I don't want to.
He just knows. He can sense.
Yeah, I don't want to know where. This doesn't sound like it's made up.
It's like having your auto bill, your bills paid automatically. Like you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, it's on auto pay.
You're on auto pay for poop. You're on auto poop.
Yeah, but so in Symphony of the Night, one of the last bosses is a dark wizard who resurrected Dracula, and he's known as the Dark Priest Shaft. So he just comes up and he basically just gives me little tummy tickles and just it's gone.
That 3 or 4 times a day, that's what's going on.
Yeah, he just knows when to do it. He'll just come. I was like, hey, who's my big boy? Yeah, there he is.
Does he poof into nothingness, or does he walk away?
I just didn't even know I had to poop. It's just time. He just comes and does that.
And then how's he leave? That's what I'm saying. Does he poof like?
Oh yeah, just poofs.
Just dissolves and it just dissipates.
Just gone. You didn't even know he was there. You didn't even know. Sometimes he does it when I'm asleep.
What wonderful magical technology you have for a bathroom.
Yeah, and it does it for my guests too.
So it works for me too.
Oh yeah, no. When you come in, it'll take some getting used to because it's like you had to just take a giant shit. Because also Castlevania sometimes is real hard to get to because there's just hordes of zombies blocking your path to there. And
naturally,
yeah. So you're probably tired. You probably have to hold a shit. And they're just like, nope, 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 nope. Boop, it's just gone.
That is one of the things I wonder whenever people talk about like weird situations like that. It's like, well, what if you have to poop? You know,
Yeah.
like emergencies, you know? You ever hear about like there was some soldier, I was listening to his story, he was talking about having to poop while he was like in the middle of a firefight. And like there's bullets flying at him, and he's like, "I just had to crap. I just crap. You just crap." And I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?"
I'll be honest, I've never thought about that before, but now it's the only thing I'm going to think about in every situation.
Oh, I think about it all the time. I go like, "Well, what if there's what if the big earthquake comes while you're like?" I thought about like, what if a mushroom cloud happens, like a nuke thing where you need to get down and duck and cover or whatever.
But I never poop,
and you're just taking a dump. Yeah, like totally.
I was just thinking of
thoughts.
I don't know why the first thing that pops in my mind is those stories of a child is trapped under a car and its mother has so much adrenaline she's able to lift it. It was like, what if she has to poop?
Yeah, totally. Well, she shits while she lifts.
Yeah,
just like any good Olympian.
Yes, indeed.
What's next?
Oh, a ballroom, because Katie likes to dance.
Oh,
I know.
sweet.
I'm romantic.
Very sweet.
I'm giving her. Here's the thing. It's not my castle. It's our castle.
Very, very cool.
It's just as much hers as it is.
She's going to listen to
mine.
this and be like, "This is the man to marry." Right
Yes,
here. This is a team player.
Terrifying but fair.
Ballroom seems fitting for. I don't know, Castlevania, but it seems when I think of a castle, I do think if it's a classic ballroom, I do think a ballroom would fit.
Yeah, but I also wanted to clarify. In Castlevania 4 on Super Nintendo, I want to say it was, there's like a ballroom you're in. There's just a bunch of ghosts that are sort of dancing and flying around and trying to kill you. No, I don't want to do that. This is a good place.
It's a fun ballroom.
Yeah, it's the ballroom from Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. I was just thinking that.
It also rotates so it looks cool.
That's the ballroom from our generation. It's like the Beauty and the Beast ballroom. Like, ballroom, you say?
Yes, singing teacups.
Yeah. Once in a while, I'll have someone that's like, you like from Barry Lyndon. But most of us will just say like, ballroom, Beauty and the Beast.
Although I was thinking of the ballroom from Addams Family.
Oh, okay. Oh, dude, great. Oh, dude. Okay, what's the next? What else we got?
All right.
And tell me if I'm pushing too far, and you're like, I did all my rooms. Like, if you have more.
No, we're a little more than halfway done.
Oh dear God! All right, we got to zip through it. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So I like the idea in Iron Man how he has sort of that Jarvis system that he talks to, and it sort of talks back to him to do all of his stuff for him.
Yeah.
I like to add that technology component to the house. For mine, I want it to be Weird Al Yankovic, and I want it to be a hologram. I want a hologram of Weird Al Yankovic popping up, asking me what I want, and doing it. But
on April Fools, it's Paul Rudd. I'm just joking. Go on.
And
Paul Rudd dressed as Weird Al.
Yeah. And every time I asked him to play something for me, it's just a clip of Mac and Me.
Mac and Me?
Yeah, it's a gag he does on Conan. Like, two of your guests are losing their minds to that reference right now.
That's good.
Everyone
Yeah,
else is just very
percentage-wise,
confused.
it's okay. That's why we do comedy, is to reach out to like a couple people like you got.
Yeah, just real niche.
Quick little wink
niche,
for your buddies.
Niche. Anyways, but the fun thing with him is he's a hologram of Weird Al, but he doesn't know he's a hologram. For some reason, he just thinks he's got a job helping me out. And every so often, he'll start to realize he's a hologram, and he'll have an existential crisis. Because I always wanted to see someone have an existential crisis of that magnitude, that close up. And I think Weird Al would be a real fun one to see go through it.
You're a scientist yourself, dude, to want it to be like, I just want to see someone, I really want to study someone as they're having an existential crisis.
Yeah. Like, he's just like, I'm a parody of myself.
You're like, yep. Now, play some Mac and Me.
I love dogs and I love water parks. I want a dog water park
with corgis or just
any dog's welcome. It's like like Raging Rapids, but dogs are welcome to jump in on the fun as well.
Oh, it's awesome. Okay,
so much fun.
So there's a dog going down a slide.
Yep. I don't know if this is real, but I heard this is real, and I want it for my house too. I heard that Barbra Streisand has an underground mall at her house.
I have not even heard that. I believe it though. If Tommy from Motley Crue can have a Starbucks,
yeah. Like from what I understand, she has an entire like full on mall, not like a little like strip mall, just like a giant Westfield style mall underground from her house that no one can go in except for her. And I think there were employees and everything.
That is so weird.
And it's like, okay, you're just in an empty mall, like working the Orange Julius, waiting for Barbra Streisand to maybe show up.
That's so freaking weird.
Yeah. And I like that idea of just like going down there, and it just feels like that Are You Afraid of the Dark episode with like the wizard and the pinball and everything.
I don't know that, but I'll reference Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie in that weird mall. But dude, the idea of you like going down there and employees, like the anxiety they would feel to know like he hasn't come down here for a few weeks, so they start relaxing and they're not really at their post. They're just chilling out and no one's sweeping up, and and then you do come down there and they're like, oh shit, and then they're always scared, like, oh, I kind of have to be on, but.
I like when you said that, when you're like, oh, they haven't been down there for a few weeks. The first thing that pops in my mind is them thinking, maybe Streisand has died and we're free now. And then thinking, oh, wait, do I think they just live down there? They're not allowed to leave.
Oh, they're like, what if Streisand died and then no one has the code? Like they're locked in it?
Oh, my God.
Locked in a mall with Barbra Streisand? I can't imagine. I'd be scared if I worked in a mall and Barbra Streisand came in to my store because I'd be like, oh, she's going to be a tough one to help out. You know what I mean? Like I have friends that've worked in the restaurant business in Beverly Hills. Like, you know, when you're just like, this customer's not going to treat me like a decent human being.
Especially when it's her mall underground.
She might be cool though. Is she, any word on if she's cool or not? I don't know. South Park made fun of her. So
I only know about the Streisand effect where, you know, there was like a picture of her house and she tried to get it offline, but because she made such a fuss about it, more people saw it than
it got more attention. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to Streisand affect the mall, the Streisand mall effect.
So okay, go on, keep going.
I would like a massive gym complex down there, but to my specifications, because I like working out, but I also want fun things happening in this. So obviously weights, I want the punching bags. I don't really box. I like punching things. I don't know how to punch very well, but I like it. A lot of them. But also I want them all in a row, like in an old Discovery Zone, where you can just like run through it. Oh, now that I think about it, I want a Discovery Zone in my house. I didn't even write that down. This is riffing. Riffing.
That's great though. That's your Barbra Streisand piece that you have a Discovery Zone inside your house.
Yeah.
That's great to keep your mind going. The lighting is great in those places. Mm-hmm. All that birch wood or whatever that wood is, it's like it is inspiring.
It's a lot of fun.
But you got me excited when you're talking about this gym thing or this with the punching bags and because when I take my kids to like the trampoline place, or my nephew had his birthday at this gym kind of place, and my son used to go to Gymboree. I was like, man, we need more of that. That's not as intense and dangerous as CrossFit.
Yeah,
but that's just like fun because when I go through those things with my kids, I'm like, I'm having a blast.
It's amazing. Ball pits everywhere.
It's so much fun, dude. Ball pits everywhere.
Yeah.
Ball pits for president.
Yeah. I also want a wrestling ring. Because I love professional wrestling. I like the idea of like, oh, I can learn how to pro wrestle in my own house.
That's
I'm going to do that. And I also want a Hell in the Cell that I can have lower from the ceiling every so often when I'm feeling hardcore.
When you really want to do it. When you want to show that wrestlers get hurt to do what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I want different like arenas where I can sword fight. Because one of my favorite things to do in college was sword fight. Because I was one of those dudes.
Like you were in not jousting.
Fencing.
Is it fencing? You were into fencing or
no? A friend of mine just had rapiers and shinais, which are like the wooden swords. We just learned how to like fight each other with them, and we would just do it in our school's quad, and people would try not to make eye contact with us as they walked by, and the weird kids were just sword fighting again.
And now you're a comic.
Yeah,
you're a stand-up comedian that used to sword fight in public.
Yeah. Oh,
did you actually get good at sword fighting? Is there a way to like?
Yeah. No, I in college I won 2 sword fighting tournaments designed mostly for middle schoolers.
Against mostly middle schoolers. I'm just joking.
But my friend, he coached me. He more or less like taught me strategy. And one of the events was essentially there was like a seesaw type thing where we're on either end of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of balanced, and you have to like walk over and try to like stab them or knock them off of the thing.
Oh yeah.
And everyone was like trying to jump and get them off balance. My friend, just sort of like Mickey from Rocky, he's like, no, don't do that. You run straight to the middle because it's going to be more steady there, and then you'll have the high ground. You take them out from there.
Oh yeah, dude.
And I did.
That's great advice.
And I whooped their prepubescent asses.
So if you had a time machine and you were only fighting children, you could really do some damage.
Yeah, which by the way, Castlevania has a time machine in it.
Oh shit! All right, keep going. Next room. Give us more.
All right.
More.
Ooh, I think that might have been it.
Oh, fantastic. Dude, that's perfect because we're at about an hour, dude.
Oh, look at that.
Fantastico, dude.
Under the wire.
Love it. It's a great fantasy house. I love the wizard that removes the stool from your system without you having to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, dude, corgis everywhere.
Everywhere in this, like, centuries-old haunted castle.
I know you said it could be whatever dogs you want at the water park, you know?
Yeah.
But we talked about corgis, and it's like an old song. I got corgis on my mind. This cute little, dude, the doorbell, corgi butt doorbell.
Just picture a corgi splooting down a twisty slide.
Where can people find you, dude?
They can find me at my website, natbaimel.com, and also you can find me on every social media at Nat Baimel, because I'm the only Nat Baimel in existence.
Spell it so that people can...
Natbaimel. I'm sure on the podcast app, it'll have my name
Yeah,
there.
I'll put it on there.
Just put @that with no spaces, and you'll find me.
You'll find Nat. Man, I feel like a blessed guest. Hashtag blessed guest in this fantasy house. What a great time. Guys, if this is your first time listening, hit the subscribe button, please, and leave us a 5-star review. And if you've been a long-time listener, dog, are you hitting share? I think you are hitting share. I really appreciate those of you that have been doing that and helping our numbers grow. Keep it up. You are making a difference. Everybody, get out there. Have a great day. Be silly and have fun.